Welcome back. In this tutorial, we're going to cover the wall bracket, which is your second sheet metal assignment, as well as placing ordinate dimensions. So when we look at this part, we see that we've got kind of a U shape with a couple of flanges or on the sides here, on the left and the right, and then a tab to mount this bracket to the wall with some keyholes in it. So what we're going to do is we are going to take a look at our part, and we are going to start off by making a 3-inch by 4-inch rectangle. Now, ordinate dimensions come off of one origin referenced as 0. So we can see that this point down here is our home location, or our 0. And then up here we've got a 3-inch dimension, and then where I'm getting the 4-inch from is 0.45 to 4.45 is a distance of 4. So our base face is going to be this 4-inch extrusion here. So we'll go over to our part, and we'll start a sketch on the top, and put in a center point rectangle, 4 by 3. When we look back at our IDW, our thickness is again 50 thousandths, so we'll change our sheet metal default to 0.05 and cancel. Put in our face, and okay, now we need some 1-inch flanges here, and these are 0.45, so we'll go ahead and we will put in a flange on the bottom here and here so that they go in the proper direction. And then we need a 0.45 here and here. So looking at our IDW, we see that we've got 4 holes to put in, and then those are a 0.201 diameter, and they are 5/8 and then 2 3/8 from the origin. So when we sketch, we're going to place 4 points and project geometry. Put a couple of symmetric constraints so that our holes line up from side to side. And then 0.2 inches over from the edge, 5/8 and 2 3/8. So there are our 4 holes. And the last 2 things we need to do then, if we come back and look at sheet 2, is we need this flange here that does not run full length, and a couple of fillets, and our keyholes. So our flange here is 1.45, it looks like, tall, and it runs 2.3 inches long. So when we come back and put in a flange, double check that dimension again. We said 1.45. We're going to hit OK, and now we've got a full length flange, which is not what we want. So we're going to come back into this flange. We're going to expand, and then under width extents, under type, we're going to pick width, and then we said that that was 2.3. So 1.3 to 3.6 would be 2.3. So we'll change this to 2.3. And then what that's going to do is give us a relief cut in here, and on the other side, good to go. Our fillet radius is missing. Well, that's interesting. We'll go ahead and make this 1/8 of an inch. Whoops, wrong edge. Edge 1, edge 2, and then lastly we'll put in our keyholes. So we'll place 2 points with a symmetric constraint, and those are I gave myself some real good numbers to work with here, didn't I? 2.0125 from the bottom. Go ahead and get the calculator out. 3.0702 minus 1.8298 divided by 2 is 0.6202. See if that looks right. 0.6202. There we go. Okay, so next step is to finish sketch. Back to sheet metal tab, punch tool, keyhole. Don't get keyhole and keyway confused, by the way. And then we're going to go to geometry, flip those 180 again. And then clearly we have some sizes that are too large, so we can go through and change our sizes based off of detail A. We've got a radius of 0.03 for our fillet, and then if we go 0.125 over here, that dimension here is listed as a diameter of 0.562, so we can change that to 0.25. And then our length is 0.1875. Center to center. So we need to add 1/8 to that and then a 1/16. So we take 0.1875 plus 0.125 plus 0.0625 gives us 3/8. So our length here is going to be 3/8. We'll come back to our part, and our width then is 0.0625 and it looks like we've got an incorrect dimension in here somewhere, so that's okay. We can go back and we can try to figure that out. Likely this should be 1/8. And that looks good. So now that this is done, we're going to go ahead and save it. And create a flat pattern. And now we're going to start a new IDW. Edit our sheet to be a B size, and our title block to ANSI A. Base view is going to be our flat pattern for this sheet, and we can make that a full size 1:1. So go to annotate and edit our layers to make visible ANSI much thinner. Go with 5/1000ths. Now we need to put in our ordinate dimensions, and those are based on sheet 1 at our bottom left hand corner. So we will go to ordinate, and if the bottom left hand corner is asking us to select a view, that is our view 1, and then we can place that onto the intersection of our two lines. So the next thing that it's asking for is model or sketch geometry, and so what we're going to do is compare what dimensions we have on our example to the dimensions that we have to place on our new drawing. So we have our hole locations, our overall height, and then the height to the top of the flange, as well as the location of the keyway. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to pick our geometry. So we're going to pick our circle. Notice that it's turning a different color, our line, our keyhole, and our top line. Right click continue, and notice that they're going in the wrong direction, which is okay. It's a matter of where our cursor is placed in relation to our home point. So we click our base there. We can also click our bottom to give us a 0. We've got a couple of dimensions that are overlapping, so we can drag those to clear anything up. If we go to Manage Styles Editor, we can change our decimal precision for our dimensions. So if we go Default ANSI, change our precision, let's go down to 5 decimal places, and then delete trailing and show leading. Save and close, and now we've got all of our dimensions. And then we would do the same thing for our opposite direction. Just pick all of our geometry that we need, bend line locations, and our other hole. Right click continue, and then place those numbers, and then clean up as we need to. And two things we need to clean up here are we need to add another dimension. We missed the end of our part. Now, all of our dimensions are running horizontal text, and when they're this close together and this many decimal points, we're going to have problems. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go to Manage Styles Editor, and we're going to go back to our default ANSI. We're going to go to Text, and we're going to change our vertical to parallel. Then we can select all of our dimensions and arrange, and that will jog the lines that we need to in order to clean everything up. My dimensions don't quite match, so we're going to have to go back and take a look at what happened. Specifically, I think there might be a problem with the size of this flange, and I think what we need to do is change the height datum So go ahead and work through this part. If your numbers don't come out quite exactly as mine, that's okay. Really what I'm looking for is to make that keyway again, as well as the offset flange that does not run the full length of an edge, and placing ordinate dimensions. So thanks, and we'll see you in the next video.